Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash. Once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders, the great millstone, who deserve double honors. Salutations go out also to the Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, all sincerity and honesty, trying to wake up the remaining hopeful elect. This is Nama with the DC camp. And lo and behold, I ran across this article. And, we've been out there trying to tell everyone within earshot, and those that are not, about Amos 8 and 11, about the famine of the word that surely is coming. And if this article here is any indication, yeah, all right, it's reached the right people. Here's what I mean by this. It says Jewish litigators take aim at critical race theory with new initiative. And you see this asshole Ted Cruz from Texas holding up the book about critical race theory. You know what I find interesting? Here they are when it comes to anything. That's why it's a crock of shit. Anytime anything remotely comes up talking about these fake Jews, these people who stole our identity, any little thing that seems like it's going to bother them in any kind of way, there's such an uproar. But here it is, all our people and others that are coming out and saying, no, this is the history of what you've done to these people that you brought over here as slaves and their descendants. These are the things that you did to them. It's no theory. These are the things that you actually, but no, we don't want that taught in our schools. You guys say, why? But you want to promote that holocaust bullshit. This is just pure wickedness. All right? And for the most part, and for many years, let's just say decades, people bought into this shit. I could care less if you're so fragile you can't handle the truth. I'm going to tell it. These are things that you did. These are crimes that you committed against a people that could not defend themselves, you fucking cowards. But this is the MO, the modus operandi, of the so-called white man. He is at heart a fucking coward. Now, you don't want this truth, or the truth. I have to keep reminding myself of that, because when you say this truth, people automatically say, well, that's what you say. That's what you... No, the truth. 1 + 1 is always going to be 2. All right? The truth. All right? So here it is, this asshole here, Ted Cruz. Then you got below him the governor of Florida, DeSantis, or DeSatan, whatever you want to say. All right. He doesn't even want to talk in his schools in his state. And he's not alone. But again, you got to ask yourself why. This hatred leveled at us for so long. But then again, you got to understand we're under the curses. This is as a result of things we did not do. The covenant, and this is one of the reasons why you can tell who's who, those curses that were levied against us because what? We broke a contract. All right? Breach of contract actually is what you would, in modern day terms, you would phrase it as. We broke the covenant. All right? Deuteronomy 28. And, you can go to, is it 21? Hold on. There's other instances, but the main one we focus on is 28 because it lays out this will be your blessing or blessings as a result of you diligently, as it states in Deuteronomy 28 and 1, adhere to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yahweh. And then in 15, but if you do not, these are the curses that will be levied against you. And from 16 to 68, now, you may have a few that will apply to other people, but all from 16 to 68, nah, So it's giving you, and it even tells you in verse 40, hold on, let me get it real quick. I don't want to mess it up. Let's see. I believe in 45, it tells you that these curses would identify, all right, I want to get it verbatim, I think it's 45. Yeah. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee, overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh thy power. So, in the words of the late former Secretary of War, before it was Secretary of Defense, Benjamin Friedman, who was himself of the Jewish community, as he told you, these people put themselves in certain conditions, all right, to make it appear as if these curses apply to them, like they're women shaving their heads. Not a condition like the Jake woman, the so-called black woman, whose hair, why do you think there's billions, plural, dollar industry? I don't see Jewish women going in there getting tracks and extensions and shit like that. It really is hilarious, and it's it's sad, but to think how low you would have to be as a people to try to take on somebody else's identity, thinking that the God of all gods, all right, that is exclusively the God of the Israelites, is not going to recompense. Shouldn't this tell you something about these people? But let's get to the article. My little rant, Salakia. But it just pisses you off. You don't want us to tell our story. You don't want the truth to be known because your feelings are going to get hurt. Wow. It goes on to say, a public interest law firm focused on protecting Jewish civil rights has taken aim at critical race theory. So now they're come to, I heard, watch NTD News or Epic Times. It's the same people, behind the scenes of the right wingers, so to speak, behind enemy lines. I like doing that just to see, what these motherfuckers are thinking. And there was I think it was a couple of weeks ago, some fake Jewish guy, and he was explaining how, the thing with, might have been more, time passed so fast, Salakia, talking about, the Kyrie Irving and Kanye West, and how all Kanye's so underprivileged and he's a billionaire. They like to throw that up there, and you need to understand, for the people that are just now hearing this is why they allow for some of us to slip through to get up in these positions. Now they can make the argument, well, how can he be oppressed? He's a billionaire, and look at the influence he has now. You see how this devil thinks? All right, but in any case, he made the analogy of, this is how the Jewish community looks at, in so many words, people such as ourselves. They don't like to, what did he say, something about when you get down and dirty with a pig, you get filthy, just like, making that excuse. No, the thing is, you can't. I don't hear you talking about, well, come and you can debate our rabbis, because you'll get your ass smoked. And I mean you will get embarrassed through the word. That's why you don't, it's not the Bible that you uphold, it's the Talmud. That's two different things. And all these ignorant people out there looking at us and telling us, no, you need to shut up, leave those people alone. Why don't you think for a moment? Why are they so into a Talmud as opposed to what? The Holy Scriptures. Because when you find out who they are, this condemns them. This lets you know that they are the wicked. So they knew, going back to make the timeline here, they knew exactly who they were after when they financed the slave trade. They knew who they wanted to get out of the way. They didn't just grab up any so-called African at random. No, they targeted people, all right, the ones that fled from Rome around 73 AD, and they scattered about, but a majority of them went to the west coast of Africa. And that's where they focused their attention. There is a reason for it. It was not just luck. All right. And that's what you assholes don't understand. You keep talking about, well, I'm African. I'm talking about our people too. All right. And they knew that. Just the dark skin, just, to say they're African. And people believe it, not knowing it was two distinctly different people. Anyway, continuing on, as a result of a generous grant from a private foundation, I wonder, TDP is extending its reach and hiring additional lawyers to enable it to bring this fight to more courtrooms. We have brought a legal challenge in federal court in California challenging liberated ethnic studies, which adopts the full complement of critical race theory's attack on Zionism. See how they're phrasing this? See how they're setting this up? The goal of which is to teach all American public school children the canard that such attacks are not anti-Semitic because Zionism and Judaism are two separate things. As a result of this very generous gift, we are now hiring more litigators to help us expand this fight dramatically. All right. TDP was founded by Harvard Law School professor Jesse M. Free, and provides legal assistance on a pro bono basis to Jewish or pro-Israel individuals who are being discriminated against in educational settings. You see here, so this has finally gotten to them to the extent now they're on the defensive. Zionism has long been demonized on the far left, at least since the UN's 1975 Zionism is Racism resolution, and then by the Festival of Anti-Semitism at the Durban Conference in 2001. There is no such thing as a Semite, hence no such thing as Semitism or anti-Semitism. That was not his name. All right, it says those attacks have crept into the mainstream of the U.S. conversation on race through critical race theory, which denounces the creation of the state of Israel. State. See how they play these word games? They're not calling themselves a nation. They're not calling themselves Israelites. Listen carefully. Which denounces the creation of the state of Israel as an exercise in land theft by white colonialists, and the actions of the Jewish state to defend all of its citizens, Muslims and Christians as well as Jews, they lumped them in there. See, what you're going to find out, you stupid-ass Christians, what you have inadvertently done has been the de facto bodyguards for these pieces of shit. Because let me tell you something, if you're unaware of this fact, these so-called Jews can't stand your ass. And the things they got planned for you when the Noahide laws come into effect, when this one world religion shit kicks off. They already had a conference back this past September of 2022. Everybody kissing, all the other religions kissing the Pope's ring and shit. What does that tell you? Or what should it tell you? I'll put it that way. All right. It says Muslims and Christians as well as Jews is nothing more than genocide, apartheid, and ethnic cleansing. Now, these libelous attacks on the Jewish commitment to Zion are being injected into public school curricula in the guise of anti-racism through the vehicles of liberated or critical ethnic studies. Though the flames of anti-Semitism continue to be fanned, most American Jews thought that was a hatred from which they and their children would be spared. Why don't you just forgive? Always using this as a means to get money from everybody. It's a ploy. Hitler's been dead for 77, going on 78 years. All right, this thing over here in Ukraine, this fucking still stupid ass commercial from the International Federation of Christians and Jews. I get so tired. That crooked ass Most High took that crooked ass. What was his name? What was it? Epstein, whatever. And he got his daughter still doing that shit now. The Most High took his life. Was it last year? Year before last? I can't stand that commercial. I always change the channel because you motherfuckers are still so stupid. You constantly, the biggest welfare state there is that I know of, all right? And because of Edomite / white supremacy, that's what's keeping this shit alive at its base. But it's good that through the scriptures, we're getting that information out there, and people are starting to like take a second look or a third look, say, wait a minute. And that's what's given rise to this that I'm reading right here. All right. It says, but as critical race theory and even physically violent attacks on them proliferate, Jews are slowly awakening to the need to not just complain about, but to defeat this effort to teach children to hate and to oppose the existence of a sovereign Jewish state in the land of it's not yours. And the more and more that people have access, notice I said have access because a lot of people, but it's there through the internet. That's what they're worried about. And they're calling it, well, again, this is something that evidently they're going to do to us. They're going to, can't play immense words like they're doing here, beating around the bush. All right? Because everybody's seeing us on the corners, all right, in different cities, not only in America, but around the world. So what are these guys talking about? They're the real Israelites. They're the real Jews. There's 11 other tribes besides Judeans. Like, duh. And you have to wonder, how is it that they got away with this for so long? Well, people, what are they teaching you in these churches? That's right, but that also goes to show you the power of the Most High. It wasn't time yet. All right, it says, we have been litigating cases since 2016, challenging the efforts of Israel's enemies to install hatred of the Jewish yearning for national liberation into the American educational canon. This is how the devil works. This is how the devil works. In light of the new grant, TDP is creating a new legal defense fund modeled after other successful civil rights law firms dedicated to the protection of minority rights. Here it is, these motherfuckers own every fucking thing. They still play these games. Oh, we're poor and we're downtrodden. We're being we're being physically attacked all the time. We're in literature and all this hatred on the airwaves, on the internet. Our model for TDP is, guess what? The NAACP, which they oversee anyway. For you stupid assholes. I won't join the NAACP. I never joined these motherfuckers because I knew better. I had an early experience with them. All right, and I said, nope, never again. All right, the Legal Defense Fund and TDP President Jerome Marcus, led by Thurgood Marshall and other brilliant and deeply committed lawyers, these people worked for many decades to conduct a well thought out and meticulously executed plan to use the Constitution's grant of equal protection to assure civil rights for their constituency. Now listen to this. America's civil rights laws have long been used by other minorities, and the American Jewish community has supported those campaigns with great commitment. Again, listen to the wording here. But, with rare exceptions, the Jewish community here has not used these laws for their own protection. With this grant, we can begin to make TDP into the civil rights law firm for American Jews. Something I never even thought about, I got to tell you the truth. But see, they have the Anti-Defamation League. Now, by its name, You would think they would represent anybody that's been defamed. All right? Just throwing it out there. It says, as Governor Ron DeSantis targets trendy ideology, got all these word games, man. And you know who they're actually targeting. All right, I hope you get this. In higher education, his administration is asking state colleges and universities for information about resources they are putting into activities related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and critical race theory, which is not even taught in grades 1 through 12. DeSantis has made the fight against critical race theory, which is based on the premise that racism is embedded in American institutions, which it is and has always been, a linchpin of this education and political agenda. Marcus went on to describe how anti-Jewish attacks on college campuses have increased due to the proliferation of critical race theory. DeSantis has repeatedly clashed with Democratic lawmakers and unions representing professors and teachers over his education initiatives. And here again, Senator Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, holds a book titled Critical Race Theory while speaking during the confirmation hearing of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. All right. Marcus said that the advent of critical race theory and its use against the Jewish commitment to Zionism must be a wake-up call for American Jews who need to understand the imperative to protect themselves and especially their children. What's happening? Because it was I would assume it was a known fact that these motherfuckers financed the slave trade. All right. But, and that was another reason I would think that this whole Holocaust thing was staged. It took attention off of them, you know, for the crimes that they committed. Everybody feels sorry for all those poor Jews. And each time you bring it up, well, they're the ones that finance, oh, shut your mouth. See, we're talking about a very devious people here. Like I said, they are the wicked. They are the nation of Edom. I don't have it to show you right now, but I have the almanacs. I have other books that tell you that they know that modern day Jewry are Edomites. Others over there in the Middle East, I've got, well, I didn't think about it before I made this video. People over there in that region know that they're not. They're not Israelites. They're Israelis. And Israelis just says that they're occupiers of the land. That's it. They don't go back to the, you know, these are converts, all right, from the 8th century. And if you go further back than that, roughly what? Roughly 800 years or so, they were converts the first time under John Hyrcanus, the last of the, you know, the Levitical priests. They were forcefully, the nation of Edom, so-called white people, they were forcefully converted then. So they've done this twice. That's where they get their Talmud BS, especially when you get into the 8th century and you get the you know, all their studies, and then I think it was the 11th century, and then you start having all this line of rabbis, you know. I think the second one was Rabbi Rashi, was one of them, and, you know, they hold in great esteem even to this day. That whole Talmud BS is just nothing but ramblings from all kinds of wicked pieces of shit. This is what they hold, all right, over the scriptures, both the Jerusalem and Babylonian. And you had to question, why is the Babylonian, in cases of law, the top one as far as the Talmud? But you don't, I mean, people are just stupid and blind, you know. Anyway, it says proponents of the critical race attack on Israel point to American Jews who denounce Israel to buttress their claim that Zionism is wholly separate from Judaism, which has nothing to do with the Holy Scriptures. I think it's mentioned once. And it's not anything having to do with what defines what Judaism is now. Therefore, they insist it's within the realm of civilized debate. I think it's in the Apocrypha, if I'm not mistaken. It's within the realm of civilized debate and is not anti-Semitic to want the Jewish state to be destroyed and to proclaim that Jews' commitment to that state is not the expression of a religious belief, but is itself an act of racism. These attacks prey on ignorance about the contents of Judaism. Then won't you read the Talmud? And you tell me, are these the people? Its books, its calendar, and its customs, everything from our daily prayers to our breaking a glass at the end of Jewish weddings is linked intimately with the Jewish yearning for Jewish sovereignty in the land of Israel. This is all fraud. There's a scripture that tells you that. All right, these people are bastards. All right, and one of the definitions of that is fraud. They don't belong there. That's Zechariah 9 and 6. It tells you that a bastard would dwell in Ashdod. All right, where's Ashdod? Oh, anyway, it says, in publicly funded attacks on sincerely held religious beliefs, like publicly funded attacks on Jewish ethnicity and Israeli, there goes that word, not Israelite, but Israeli nationals, and like attacks on all blacks and Hispanics, all Asians, all, you want to lump yourself in with everybody else. Marcus said that the grant will also enable the nonprofit public interest law firm to build the infrastructure it needs to protect Jewish civil rights. Which begs the question, I thought that really off of our backs, blood, sweat, and tears, all right, literally, I thought that covered everybody. So why are you making as if you need something special? One of the tools often used by the enemies of Zionism is stealth. They instruct public school teachers who indoctrinate students with hatred of Israel to do so under the radar and behind closed doors. And let's get something straight. I like how they worded this. They instruct public school teachers who indoctrinate students with hatred of Israel. Isn't that what you've done behind the scenes with us all this time? Who do you think ultimately was behind all this? That owned these newspapers back in the day. I got a book, I don't have it on me now. Books like Without Sanctuary, At the Hands of Persons Unknown, the one by Ralph Ginsberg, 100 Years of Lynching. All right. Nothing, especially that last one, 100 Years of Lynching, nothing but an assemblage of newspaper articles. Who do you think the majority of those newspaper articles, newspaper outlets, the owners of those, who do you think that those people were? These are people that are expert at throwing rocks and hiding their hands. Plausible deniability kings, as I call them. All right. See, everything's falling apart because of what was done to us. Not this shit that you're claiming that was done to you. And that's what makes these people, you know, they're antsy now. They're nervous because they're being found out. These are the actions of someone who's being found out for what and who they truly are. And it's not nice. It's not pretty. It's not meant to be. All right. These are people on their way out. And it terrifies them. But you did these things. I mean, at some point you had to realize that it was coming to an end. Again, we're just telling you what you did to us. And that is such a big threat. Because now people are putting two and two together. If for nothing else, people are reading their Bibles more closely now. They're looking up things. They're looking up words. They're looking up all this other history. And it's very telling. on you fake Jew bastards. All right, you stuck your, I'm just going to say middle finger. I was going to use something else, but I'll be nice. Which, by the way, with this monument down here, where I am in D.C., they call the Washington Monument, which it really is. They saying we fucked the world, and they have. All right, with that phallic symbol. Say, yep. But now, all this is coming to a head, and it terrifies these motherfuckers. That's why I couldn't put a number as far as a year on it, or years, but you're seeing such an increase in these bunkers being built because, unlike our people, sadly, they understand that shit's about to kick off. So they're spending whatever resources they have. All right, and they're going to try to hide, but, you know, hey, Amos 9, we got to go there. Don't matter how deep you go, no matter how high you go, you can't escape. All right. Though they dig, this is verse 2, though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. All right. Here's another one. This is Psalms 85 and 11. It says, truth shall spring out of the earth, which it is. And again, you know, you can go to Psalms 19 or Romans 10 and 18 about the internet. This is a tool, all right, that the Most High has gotten his word out over and has woken up so many. All right. We didn't have to get on planes and go there physically, you know, like your Christian preachers, you know. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Let's get another one. Let's go to 2 Ezra 6:27. It says, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. They know it's their time. It's over with. It's done. So now they're going to try to, well, we're going to put together this full court press with our legal teams. The cat's out of the bag, the cow's out the barn, you know, the ship's out at sea. It's too late. Verse 28, as for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And that truth, which you were so worried about, that you were being discovered for the fraud and the fake that you really are, and that you've used someone else's heritage as a cover for your wickedness, and every time you found out, oh, they're anti-Semitic, and it has worked, but it ain't working no more. That is what scares you, and it should. The gig is up. It's over. Time for you to pay for your crimes against the real children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and wherever they're scattered abroad. You got to pay, and you are going to pay. Zechariah 2 and 8. You put your hands on us. You furthered our affliction. Hey, so till the next video, hey, shalom.